What's up guys, Asian here again with another PTS video, and today we're going to be going over what you can do to start preparing for the Scalebreaker patch that is going to be live at this point. It's going to be live tomorrow. So unfortunately this video was delayed by a little bit here, mainly because I did want to make sure that all the changes in 5.1.4 wouldn't make any sort of major changes to how support roles will be playing. And for support roles I'm talking about tanks and healers. So this video is going to be taking a look at what changes that are going to be made to both healers and tanks, particularly more in playstyle and potentially skills and sets as well for those two roles there. We'll start off with healers and move our ways over to tanks. So healers. With Scalebreaker, a lot of things have changed. Most of it is going to be focused in on playstyle, and less is going to be focused in on gear changes and things like that. So, first things first, a lot of your skills have been changed. At least a lot of your key skills have been changed. So, for example, Illustrious Healing and Healing Springs, you can no longer stack. It'll only be able to put down one. However, to compensate for this, they do last for a longer period of time. So, for example, Illustrious Healing, as you can see here, lasts for 12 seconds and it heals 2k per second. So, rather than treating it as sort of a stacked heal, you're going to have to treat it as another heal over time ability. Orbs has also been changed. You can only have one orb out at a time, and they did buff the healing a little bit here. The other thing that they also changed with orbs is that when somebody uses this energy, it doesn't disappear anymore. So now you can pretty much treat orbs, again, as sort of a heal over time, more than you did in the past. You no longer have to really pump out a lot of orbs anymore. It's just shoot out one, and as long as all your DPS are within the synergy range, they will be able to activate it, assuming that they are off cooldown. So those are the two main changes that we're going to be seeing for healers. Now this actually does end up shifting the playstyle a little bit here, because now you don't have to worry about pumping out 3 to 4 orbs at a time anymore. So now healers, your sustainers should be seeing a noticeable jump, because again, you're not spamming out orbs anymore. Instead, you're just pumping out one every 10 seconds or so. So because of that, healers, you guys are going to be investing a little bit more heavily now into spell damage for just the raw healing strength. Again, you don't have to pump up that many orbs. The only heal ability you're going to have to really keep an eye on now is really going to be just Combat Prayer for the Minor Berserk uptime. So with that in mind, a lot of healers are now shifting away from, magicka regen and kind of balancing out magicka regen and spell damage for more raw spell damage here. Now, of course, if you still have trouble sustaining, then you can obviously shift points back towards regeneration. However, the general trend is going to be higher spell damage than magicka regen now, especially if you're a Breton with your 7% additional cost reduction to magicka based abilities here. So in terms of healers, that's really the big shift here for healers. This is more of a playstyle shift here, where instead of pumping out orbs a lot, you're just going to be pumping out one every, at the very least, I would say probably every 10 seconds or so, just because the orb itself lasts for 10 seconds, and it's still a pretty strong heal over time ability. And then Combat Prayer is going to be pretty much going to be your kind of burst heal, more or less. Now that's, they pretty much made it so orbs, you can't really spam them that much anymore. So that's really the main change here for healers. Now there are a couple other changes to certain key healer abilities that you also want to keep in mind here. So for example, Overflowing Altar no longer has a cast time, but it does have a health cost. You can see here it costs just under 4,000 health. So if you're the healer that normally uses Overflowing Altar or Sanguine Altar, just keep that in mind when you activate it. Don't have a cast time anymore, but it does cost health in order to activate it now. But beyond that, in terms of sets, most sets have pretty much stayed exactly the same. There is one set you want to pick up, and that's going to be Martial Knowledge, but beyond that, sets have pretty much remained the same. It's going to be mostly geared towards healing playstyle, so I highly recommend everybody who are healer mains to check out a couple of healer streamers, main healer streamers, in order to kind of see how they have been adapting to the new changes. Now, a lot of endgame healers that I've talked to are not certain whether they're going to continue playing this game, so hopefully I'll be able to find a few that are still going to be playing. I know there are quite a few that still play, but the question is whether or not they stream. So once I figure out which of the healer main streamers are still around, when I do release my healer videos, I will have links to their streams so you guys can see how healers are adjusting their playstyles accordingly to kind of make up for these changes to healing. Now for tanks, nothing much has changed for tanks. You're still running the exact same sets, still running the exact same enchants, traits, everything like that. The only set you might want to pick up is going to be Martial Knowledge. But beyond that, that's pretty much it. Tanks don't really have that much in terms of changes in Scalebreaker. Just make sure to pick up Martial Knowledge. It's a pretty strong support set now. The question is, of course, whether you're going to have it on a healer or a tank. Most groups are thinking healers are probably going to be in a better spot to use Martial Knowledge, but it doesn't hurt to be prepared and have that set ready on hand as a tank. So, in terms of support roles, the big changes here are going to be to healer playstyles, and unfortunately, because I don't really heal very often at endgame level, I will be deferring over to some other high-end healers instead. Tabata, Sophie heals the feels. Those sorts of people will have a better idea of what you need to do in order to kind of prepare yourself for the Scalebreaker patch. In terms of tanks though, nothing much has changed. The only thing that I'm going to be making a change to with my tank is I'll just have to pick up a set of Martial Knowledge in case we have to end up running that on a tank rather than a healer. So that is it for this video. Hope you guys found this informative. And again, I will have a couple of links down below to some healer mains that I know stream. Whether they are going to continue to stream or continue to play ESO after Scalebreaker goes live, it remains to be seen. But at the very least, you guys have a couple of links to kind of take a look at first. So again, hope you guys found this video informative, and I'll see you guys in the next dungeon.